What's going on, guys? LMB Racing back for another video. We're going to be talking about our twin turbo Coyote that we're going to get ready to start doing. I've already kind of worked on it and done a lot of the stuff to it. As you can see, the motor's out of the car. Motor's over here. I've pulled the motor for this install simply because one, ease, two, I really wanted to gap the piston rings like we had talked about in a different video, because everybody knows Gen 1s don't handle well with boost and anything over 750 on E. We're trying to prevent that. We're trying to go faster than that, and we want it to last. The concern and the issues that I have ran into with this kit is that I cannot find any kind of instructions, any kind of, hey, this is how it's supposed to go. Me being an aircraft mechanic, I am very by the manual, by the book kind of guy, and I like to follow a set instruction of how something is supposed to go. Obviously, when you're going this in depth into a car to modify it, that doesn't always happen. My frustration with this is that they send you a guide, and it's an installation guide. So it's not really a how-to, which is fine. I can roll with the punches. This is where I come into play. I really want to document and show how this kind of goes when you're working out of a garage, when you got a full-time job and you're trying to do this at home and really make this thing work. So with that being said, I'm going to show kind of the process of how we build this thing up. I'm already at the point of motors out, done, piston rings are gapped. I didn't show it. There's 100 videos on that. But for us, we're gonna kind of focus more on getting this from what it is right now to running, driving, and ready to rock. I've seen and done a lot of research on the forums, and I've asked questions to guys who have done this before, and everything I come up with is that these guys say, this is how I did it, but next guy chimes in and says, well, that doesn't work for me. There's no way you could have done it that way because it doesn't fit, yada, yada, yada. I'm not interested in that. I'm gonna show you the hard, cold, true facts about this kit and how it's supposed to go together, and when you're in a garage and you don't have access to a lift and all these things, and how I do it. I'm gonna be that guy just like everybody else, and I'm gonna show how it worked for me. So with that being said, we're gonna kind of go over a few game plans. First thing that has to happen with this is you have to relocate the PCM and fuse box for the passenger side turbo, because obviously there's not enough room in the engine bay for both of them to coexist in the same area. They send a bracket now with the new kit that relocates it below the headlight where the windshield wiper fluid reservoir goes. We are going to try and tackle that. I can't really find a whole lot about it. It looks pretty simple. It's just a few simple bolts, and it comes apart, and we can kind of move wires around and move them away and route them in a way that makes sense for us. So we got to take the headlight out first to kind of give us some clearance and some access to that area better to kind of see what's going on. We're going to try and also explain to you guys how to route fuel systems in the videos coming up, how we're going to do our return style, because we are going return style with this car. We're going to be running an on-3 fuel pump system with two 325s with a inline fuel filter. We also bought FIC 1000s to kind of support that pump and hopefully run on E. 800 is about the goal. That being said, we're going to try and kind of start tackling this in a systematic manner that I am used to in aircraft, being very goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, goal 4, and so on and so forth. We're going to go ahead and just show you guys from start to finish, so that way for anybody who is watching this for the first time and you're looking at this kit and you're feeling overwhelmed like I have been, you can kind of feel a little bit better, because we're going to kind of tackle this together and you're going to get to see it unfold from what it is now to running and driving. Let's get into pulling the headlight out. there's only 3 bolts that actually really hold this thing down. You have this one right here, you have that one down there, and then you have another one right there. And then you also have, to separate these two, you have this nut right here, and then you have another bolt that goes through here, and these kind of come off. What I'm gonna do, what I suggest doing, this is kind of just good practice, I'm going to label which one of these is 1, 2, and 3. I already have 2 off. I'm just gonna tape over this line right here, label that one 1. That way when we go back together, we go to plug this thing in, we're not guessing. We don't need a, oh, where did that go, yada, yada, yada. It makes it nice and easy, so that way we don't have to guess and we know which one goes where, just for our peace of mind and all that. This will be our number 1 plug. And we're also going to label on each one of these so we know that this is 2. These are also different sizes, so I mean that also kind of gives you a good idea of which is which. I am just very anal, and I like to be a little OCD when it comes to organizing things. All right, see if we can get this PCM and fuse box out. Ah, another hidden bolt down there. Probably gonna take that ground off. Suggestion, take that off before you get the fuse box loose. It is extremely tight. So there's a little plastic clip down here in the fender well that holds the harness up against the chassis. That is what I am pushing out right now. It's down here in the bottom. This just has to rotate kind of down into this direction. The trick is getting it to quit fighting me. May not force it. The good news is that pictures of people's engine bays that I'm kind of going off of, and from what it looked like, a lot of these fuse boxes were down here in this little area down here, just kind of chilling out. So I think if I move this bracket and get all this pulled out, the big thing was that I just kind of wanted to get everything loose for now. and get back to, that way tomorrow I can kind of come back into it with a little bit of space. I am fighting the radiator bracket. May take those loose to be able to pull this main harness up, kind of give me a little bit more room, maybe unplug this and kind of give me a little bit more leeway, but for the most part it's pretty loose. So we're gonna call it there tonight. We made good progress tonight. We got the bumper support taken off, got the fuse box loose, PCM taken out, got that unplugged, got those labeled. Tomorrow we're going to be dropping off the heads at the machine shop because we have new valve springs that we're going to be putting in those new heads. They're also going to clean up the heads and make sure that there's no dust and debris and sand and all that jazz from driving at 80,000 miles. So they're going to clean those up. We'll get those back next week, hopefully start assembling the motor, but I'd like to have at least this and the whole wiring on this side situation figured out and kind of in place by the time the motor is done and ready to throw back in, because we can throw the motor in, start doing fuel lines once we have the wiring part of this figured out. This is the big thing that I've been kind of dreading doing because of how invasive that it actually is, because it is a big job. You are moving the factory harness where it was not normally intended to be. So just being patient, and we'll figure it out as we kind of go along, kind of reference pictures. And I am by no means an expert, so sometimes in this may look stupid. That's part of the learning experience that we all go through as we build cars, and we're gonna figure it out together. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys when I'm struggling with something, and we'll do the best we can. For now, have a great night. Have an awesome day whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you soon on the next one. And this is LMB Racing, building his dream one wrench at a time. I'll catch you guys later.